Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to film another video about anxiety and some of the types of anxiety and all the differences between them. So stay tuned. I want to start this video by saying thank you to my friend for doing my new intro. So if you like it as much as I do, I will link her Instagram down below, so go and check her out. Thank you, Connie, I love you. Now, let's talk about anxiety. First type of anxiety disorder I want to talk about is specific phobia. Phobia is a fear provoked by certain object or certain situation. There are different types of phobias. There are animal phobias, when you're scared of animal or insects. There are also environmental phobias, when you're scared of height, water, storms. There are blood and injury phobias, when you're scared of giving blood, receiving blood, or even seeing someone injured because you're scared of blood. Situational phobias like claustrophobia, fear of closed places, airplanes, driving, any situation that makes you feel anxious and scared. This disorder is characterized by physical and emotional symptoms. Physical symptoms include racing heart, difficulties breathing, trembling and shaking, nausea, sweating, dry mouth, and chest pains. Emotional symptoms include you're feeling overwhelmed with anxiety and fear, you're having anxious thoughts, irrational anxious thoughts. You know they're irrational, but anyway you can't help it, they're here. And feeling in an intense need to escape the situation. Now, let's talk about the most common anxiety disorder, also known as social anxiety disorder. Social anxiety disorder is a type of disorder that is characterized by extreme fear, discomfort, and self-consciousness in social settings. People that have this disorder are excluding themselves from social settings because they're afraid they're gonna be judged. As any disorder, also this disorder has its own symptoms, and it's also characterized by physical and emotional symptoms. So, let's talk about the symptoms. Physical symptoms include racing heart, difficulties breathing, dizziness, blushing, stomachache, trembling, excessive sweating, and dry mouth and throat. Emotional symptoms include high levels of anxiety and fear, nervousness, panic attacks, negative emotional feelings. People struggling with this disorder also have behavioral patterns. They usually avoid situations where they will be the center of the attention. They become really isolated because they don't want to go out because they're scared of embarrassment, and also they're excessive drinkers. If you're struggling with this disorder, please call for help. Please get some help, because statistics say that only 5% of the people struggling with social anxiety disorder are in therapy, and 85% of the people that are in therapy are now feeling better and they're improving themselves. So try and find help for yourself. And the last but not least anxiety disorder we're gonna talk about today is agoraphobia. Agoraphobia is the disorder that people are confusing the most with social anxiety disorder, because they're similar but there are differences. People with social anxiety disorder are excluding themselves from social settings because they're afraid they're gonna be judged. But people with agoraphobia have fear of public places. That means that they're scared that if they go in a public place, they're gonna be stuck. For example, if you go in a movie theater filled with people and your seat is in the middle of the row, and the movie begins and you don't like the movie, so you want to stand up and go home. People with agoraphobia are scared that if they don't like the movie and their seat is in the middle of the row, they can't stand up because they need to disturb all these people so they can go out. That's why they avoid public places like movie theaters, and they don't use public transportation. They avoid going into crowd, and usually they avoid being out of their home. But If you're struggling with any of these disorders I talked about today, don't worry, there is a solution. There is a therapist you can try, and there is things you can do by yourself to help yourself with. Let's talk about the therapies most used for anxiety disorders. The therapy most used with anxiety disorder is cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. There are psychologists that specializes in CBT, and they work only with CBT. So if you're struggling with this type of disorders, try finding a therapist that works with CBT. Other type of therapy used with anxiety disorders is exposure therapy. Exposure therapy is a type of therapy where you role play with your therapist certain situation. For example, if you're scared of public speaking, you role play public speaking, and your therapist helps you to change your anxious thoughts and gives you techniques and tips and tricks that you can do by yourself to reduce your anxiety attacks when you're confronted by this type of situation in your everyday life. Now, let's talk about tips and tricks you can do so you can help yourself with your anxiety. First thing you can do is you need to get yourself out there. I know it's tempting to stay home. I know you're not feeling like doing anything, but start small, like go take a drink with one friend, or just go for a walk with your dog where it's more people and more crowd. Just start small so you can go big. And don't forget to congratulate yourself. Every time you're confronted by a situation that makes you feel anxious and you don't run away from it, you stay and you know how to reduce your anxiety, don't forget to congratulate yourself. One other thing you can do is to start keeping journal about your anxious thoughts, about your panic attacks, about your anxiety attacks, so you can become more aware of your irrational thoughts. And believe me, once you become more aware of them, they will start to change. One important thing you need to do is to go and talk with your regular doctor so you can see if your anxiety is a result of something physical, because that's possibility. It's possible if your heart is racing to cause anxiety, and that doesn't mean that your anxiety is a psychological problem. That means that your anxiety is a physical problem. One other thing I need to say is write down your goals. Doesn't matter how small they are. Maybe your goals are to buy new shoes. I don't know. Write them down, and every time you achieve your goals, once again, congratulate yourself. And that's all for today. So stay positive, and I will see you soon. Bye!